In this video, we will explore the use of attributes and grid view within Express. First, we'll discuss the use of attributes. Attributes can be used to associate various characteristics with the different elements that make up an Express model. When an object is selected, we will select the Attributes tab on the context panel. In this example, we discover that we have three different attributes that have been associated with objects within this model: cost, reliability, and time. Typically, reliability is one of the most important attributes within any Express model, since it's a required value to accurately calculate fault isolation and fault detection percentages. The reliability attribute can be assigned to either failure rates or MTBFs. In this model, cost is associated with the cost to replace that item or the cost of that particular part. The time is associated with the removal and the replacement of that part. But we are able to create virtually any imaginable attribute which can be used to represent many different characteristics of objects, functions, tests, and other design elements used within Express. When we select other objects within Express, we see that they have the same attributes identified, but are enumerated with values specific to each element. In this case, the light bulb will take 5 minutes to repair, versus the 2.5-hour repair time identified for the master cylinder time attribute. To observe the attributes defined for the model, we can invoke the Design Attribute Definition dialog by selecting Design from the menu bar and then selecting Attributes and Define. The Attribute Definition dialog can be used to define a wide variety of design characteristics, features, allotments, or predictions. Each attribute can be assigned a different type. We can see that there are varying numerical types as well as text strings or checklists. Also, each attribute can be assigned to the total design, objects, or to data elements within those objects, to nets, test sets, or failure effects. To view the reliability attribute, we can select reliability from the pull-down menu and observe that its type is listed in the numerical folder, since the reliability value is a numerical value that is associated with reliability. Other common text type attributes such as LCN or part numbers can be identified in the text folder. Moving forward, in this particular model, reliability is associated with objects and functions. We can examine and edit the default values for the objects and the functions by selecting their corresponding Edit Default buttons. Notice that the numerical value has already been assigned. This is the default value that is used for each object within the model prior to the user entering or importing a different value. The severity attribute for this particular model is associated with the failure effects. We can see that it is a checklist type of an attribute. The checklist options have previously been set up in this model to correspond to differing levels of severity. When we select the Edit Default button, those levels of severity have been assigned and can be selected by the user in the form of a checklist. The time attribute for this particular model has been associated with objects and tests. The time associated to the objects is the time to remove and replace the object. The time to test is associated with the tests. Analysts often set up attributes not only for the data to be used within Express analyses, but also for the properties that are utilized by other tools that receive their data from Express. Information can also be imported into Express by creating attributes which correspond to the data elements within other tools. The flexibility of attributes within Express provides the user a way to capture design characteristics which can then be used by other tools, or other tools can provide their information to populate the Express attributes. Either way, Express attributes can be used to enhance interoperability and reuse of data between multiple tools. Let's take a look at grid view. First, we are going to go to Edit and select all the items within our model. Then we will invoke Grid View by clicking on the Grid View icon. In Grid View, Express design data is presented in this spreadsheet-like grid in the main design window. Because the data from multiple design elements can be displayed simultaneously, Grid View is often the easiest way to edit data from multiple elements, particularly for batch changes. We can change the data presented in the display by making selections in the context panel below. We can either select or deselect different data elements. Let's take a look at some of the attributes associated with the objects within this model. As previously discussed, we had three attributes that were associated strictly with objects. Those were cost, reliability, and time. We can see in grid view that we can easily change these if we need to by just entering the data in the cell. We can also sort the data in each column by clicking on the header. For reliability, when we click on the header, it may be useful to sort the objects in ascending or descending lists based upon failure rate. When we click on it a third time, we can see that the header changes from failure rate to MTBF and sorts the objects in ascending or descending order with equal efficiency, offering a variety of utility. Finally, Grid View provides a quick one-button export directly into an Excel spreadsheet. Simply click on the upper left corner cell. This will launch Microsoft Excel and the data from Grid View will be immediately exported. In this manner, the data can then be used in other tools or just for the purpose of generating reports. So as you can see, Grid View provides a valuable facility for not only viewing data, but also for the expeditious sorting and editing of design data. Once again, to return to the drawing view, simply click on the drawing view icon. Doing so returns us back to the standard Express model editor view. For further information on attributes and uses for Grid View, please view the Importing from Express video tutorials from the Basic Skills library or refer to the online help within Express.